When we talk about wicked problem solving and design being a problem that is challenging, we have to think about the stakeholders. And one of the reasons why it's wicked problem solving is that although you can consider having one end user, there's actually a number of players involved in the process, and those are the stakeholders. So we'll have manufacturers, we'll have end users, their friends, their family members, retailers. If we're looking at specialized audiences or specialized users, we might have caregivers, we might have healthcare providers. So when you see these problems, these wicked problems in design, they need to be approached from many different angles, which is why we do something that's called Design in the Wild. And Design in the Wild is really about, again, bringing in all these different angles and understanding that people behave in such a range of different ways. To really understand that, you have to get out in the wild, and it's like being in the jungle, looking at all the birds and the trees and the plants and the ground and the grass and all those animals, and you're trying to figure out the relationships between everything that's there. For example, designing for health and safety. So designing, I've been involved in a project where we're designing garments that protect men from hot water and steam injury in the oil industry. The various stakeholders in that project, immediately you think about the stakeholders being the person who's wearing the garments. But in fact, there are manufacturers who need to make that garment, and they need to be made to specific standards. There are safety supervisors who are teaching people about safety. There's even non-human stakeholders like the standards and procedures that need to be followed to protect people from those injuries. There's also industry and people within industry, different oil companies and different workers engaged in different kinds of activities. So when we do research in the wild, we really go out and do a multi-method technique where we do observations of what real workers are doing. We look at how they're being trained by their safety supervisors. We look at how the garments are going to be manufactured. And we also look at precedents, how other garments that are similar have been designed. So you can see that it's really a complex system that we're looking at that involves lots of different stakeholders, both human and non-human stakeholders. As designers, we can go out, we can do all the research, we can look at the relationships that people have with garments, we can look at the use scenario, we can look at the hazards that they're involved in, the safety standards, all of those different elements. But if we don't have a manufacturable product, then it's completely useless. So ultimately, we need to look at the full lifespan of the object from the onset, determining what we want to design, how we want that created, into manufacture, and then ideally even further along into the complete lifespan of the object.